Apple, 3 a.m.
Cream. Alright. What do we have here? Left monitor, calm rain walkies. Right monitor, screeching anime waifu VTuber. Look, I'm not usually a Shondo watcher. It just happened to be that particular day when the cops showed up. For someone else, I will say. I don't know, usually it's Henya or, I don't know, Lena Lazar, Pliabit. Depending. You're at the mall and you saw a ton of Soulbound books. I guess there's a Destruction one that lets you play orcs. Cool. Sounds fun. Gloomspite, Gitz. And points. Oof. Ugh. Too bright. Klondike actually it does still exist, yeah. It does. Anyway, as far as GSG is concerned, as we all recall, the battle traits are very disappointing and bad. Ahem. It is random. It starts in a corner and then moves into position, and sometimes it affects the whole table and then it goes away, and depending on what you roll, it could go away right away, it could just be gone for the whole game, it could stand still forever. Nobody liked this. Everyone hated this. I wish they would have asked for player feedback on that one, but they did not. And then what happens? What do you get for this random awful thing? That you have to be in exact quadrants to take advantage of, right? That's annoying. Anyway, what do you get? What do you get, if you will? Well, it depends on what your keyword is. If you are a non-squig Moon Clan unit, add 3 to your control score, which never matters until the one time it does matter, and then it's really good. But in general, it doesn't matter. It'll randomly save you, but it's not like a good bonus. If you are a squig, you can reroll the random characteristic on its move. This is trash. It's so bad. I can't believe they still have random move characteristics. That's not fun. And rerolling it is awful. What a bad bonus. And then Moonlit Hide. Troggoth units add 1 to their save rolls. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's a little bit of a double-edged sword. It's a little bit of a double-edged sword, though. Because it's so good, and it's foundationally good for your durability. You kinda have to care about it now, and you really have to make sure that you always have it. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, but it's super strong, obviously, for Trogs. And then Spiderfang Venom. Venom. It allows you to proc stuff on 5-ups. Now, if any Spiderfang units were worth playing, then this would be real strong. You know, imagine Cruel Boys getting a 5-up for their thing, right? Like that's, in a vacuum, it's a strong effect. Luckily, Spiderfang is terrible. And on the do not buy list, they're just going away, probably, thing. So you don't have to worry about it. So long story short, if you are in a Trog army, you really do care about the moon, because it gives you an incredible bonus that you really do always need. And if you're anything else, the bonuses are so bad that it's like, whatever. But I still call the battle traits for Gloomspite Gitz F tier, no fun allowed. Next up, battle formations. Squigalanche, Bouncing Furry. Each time friendly squig unit charges, add 1 attacks characteristics of its mouthful attacks. Alright, we'll have to look and see if the squig units are good. And if they're supposed to do damage and supposed to charge and stuff, but +1 attacks on their mouth things could be good if those attacks are good. It's easy to turn it on, right? You don't have to be in range of anything, you just have to make a charge. So, potentially good. We'll check later. Trog Herd. Each time friendly Trog uses fight, it heals. That's good. In a vacuum, it's not good. But based on everything else that the Trogs are doing, and kind of the nature of them, it becomes good. Moon Clan Scrap. Once per turn army, end of your turn. Pick up to 3 non-squig Moon Clan that are in combat at the end of the turn. And you can either, for each target, make a pile-in move, and then pick an enemy in combat with it and roll a shit d3, and then sometimes do some damage. It's at the end of each turn, and if you are a giant blob tar pit thing, then this is potentially a source for some recurrent damage over time. Even if it is the stupid shit d3, which I've grown to hate immediately after playing the game one time. I liked it in print. I'm like, oh, this is clever. It gets rid of a superfluous die roll, and you're rolling fewer dice now. Nice. And then I played with it, and I'm like, oh, it means that every ability fails a third of the time. I hate this. I hate this now. And rolling a d6 and having to halve it and round up to make a we have a d3 at home kind of duct tape thing is an awful idea. I can't believe Games Workshop hasn't printed their own d3s that are just d6s with 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. I don't know why they don't make those. It would make playing Age of Sigmar 10% more fun to not have to do the stupid math for your d6s into d3s. And it would get rid of a lot of questions besides. Anyway, get off my high horse here for a second. Spiderfang Stalk Tribe. Each time an Arachnarok uses Realm Web Lurka, you can pick another friendly Spiderfang unit to also use that ability. And the problem with that is, even if you're playing one Arachnarok, you aren't playing any other Spiderfang units. So it almost doesn't matter what this says. Yeah, you get to ambush with somebody else along. Nice. Anyway, if you're playing Trogs, you play the Trog one. If you're playing Squigs, you play the Squig one. And if you're playing Moon Clan, you play the Moon Clan one. I remember when they said they weren't going to do that exact thing, but then they've done that exact thing here. They're like, you know, for battle formations, we're going to be more playstyle focused and less unit locked, and you have to play these specific units and stuff. So they did say they were going to do that, just not here though. Not in the Ogre book, not in the Gitz book. You can order D3s directly from Chessex. I mean, you can order D3s from a whole lot of places that are real cheap. Ahem. Yeah, end of your turn, it should be noted. Not any turn. I might have said any turn, but I meant your turn. So, not great. Heroic traits. The Clammy Hand. Each time a friendly Gloomspite Gitz unit wholly within 12 uses Rally, you can make 3 additional Rally rolls of D6. Okay. That might be helpful if you're playing with big dudes that need more HP to bring back. Loon Touched. If it's not a wizard, it has Wizard 1. Never mind. This is the one you do. Never mind. All plans cancelled. We're taking Loon Touched. 100% of the time. This unit's combat roll die on a 3-up, it can immediately retreat as if it were your movement phase. This is really strong. Fight another day. It's a strong effect. To be able to yeet out of combat before you fight or get fought. So if somebody charges you, you can like fuck off, which is cool. It's a very strong thing. If there's any, like, combat hero or something, or somebody you want to keep alive. However, let's be real, you're taking Loon Touched. I think, as I see it. Literally always. Next. Artifacts Power. Troglodytic Treasures. Had to get the, alliteration in there. The Clammy Cowl. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks target this unit. This is good, but I don't know. I feel like if you're a foot hero, you're invisible anyway. You're invisible anyway, you get -1 to get hit anyway. What's another -1 to hit? Unless you're fighting against exactly, like, what, 2 armies in the game that can snipe? Then maybe, but... maybe if you're on a big guy who doesn't have the tiny hero bonus, right? If you're playing, like, a big hero who can't become invincible and undetectable in the ethereal plane. Leering Gitz Shield. Each time an unmodified hit roll for an attack targets this unit is 1, inflict 1. No. No. Once per battle, end of any turn. Pick an enemy hero in combat with this unit to be the target. No. Okay. I guess it's the Clammy Cowl. The other ones, I wish they would have given you 3 artifacts, but they gave you 1 and then some hieroglyphics here that don't make any sense. Next up, Spell Lore. Just show me on the squig where the loon touched you. Hey, Heywoah, got any tips for a Soulblight player? You know this is destruction, but you play vampires? Ain't no big deal. Tips for a Soulblight player. Soulblight is really good. And fun. It's good and fun. Make sure to bring enough wizards. I'm not sure which ones are really good right now, but typically with Soulblight you pick skeletons or zombies. And then you flood the board with them. And they're incredibly strong, and most of your abilities wrap around them and bringing them back to life, and they're really good. Your heroes are good. Your chaff or giant, like, blobs of stuff is really good. So much recursion. I mean, they're necromancers, right? But you have so much recursion. You can bring people back to life on the opponent's turn. Although that might get changed because it's super good. Yeah. Shadowcar the Based is actually kind of good and playable. Blood Knight Cavalry is good. Possibly even a Mortarch might be good, although I can't remember. Yeah, Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon is not what he used to be. But then again, like, monster heroes that are supposed to be like fighty monster heroes are kind of bad this edition, game-wide. If you're looking for impactful, big, expensive unit that really does work, you're looking at cavalry, reinforced infantry, reinforced cavalry. Monsters are kind of bad. Unless it's a buff wagon centerpiece thing, synergy thing. Spell lore. Lore of the Clammy Dank. Your unlimited spell cast on a 7, that's rough. Until the starting next turn, -1 for hit rolls, attacks made by enemy units while they're wholly within 12 of the caster. That's good, though. Okay. Your unlimited spell is good. It's hard to cast, but it's good. Nice. Okay, that means that your spell lore is good. If your unlimited spell is good, kind of your spell lore is good. The Hand of Gork, cast on a 7 as well. Visible friendly unit wholly within 12 of the wizard, and not in combat. Damn. Okay. Remove them and set them up wholly within 24 of the caster and more than 9 from all enemies. Okay. A pretty limited teleport, but it's still technically a teleport. You'll find uses for that for sure. And then Spore Mars. Pick up to 3 visible enemy units within 12. super short range. Yikes. D3 for each, and it's a shit D3. And if there's only one within range, then you cast the spell. It's not unbound, and then it still fails a third of the time after 2 hoops to jump through. Jesus. Damn. I hate this spell. Sometimes you'll feel like you have to cast it, but that sucks. Yeah, 12 Holy Within is kind of rough on this. Not in combat, and Holy Within 12, and only 24 from you. A lot of restrictions, and to cast on a 7. And then you have 4, count them, 4 manifestations that you won't be playing with. I mean, maybe you will, actually, I don't know. Shall we look at them right away? Scutal Tide. This manifestation can pass across terrain features as Vision and Fly. Ward 4 oppose Holy Within 12 any friendly Ragnarok units. Okay, it has a big base, I guess, and so it's just something that appears. I suppose it has crit mortals. It'll do 1 mortal if it fights something. Alright, not great. Orc's Mighty Mushroom. Pick up to 3 enemy units within 6 of it. For each target, roll number, and it does a bad. Okay, this is good against Soulblight, Skaven, and the Mirror Match. Everything else, not really. One Moon. Pick friendly Gitz unit that are under the light of Bad Moon while they're wholly within 12 of it. Okay, so this is maybe like a Trog spell, because you always need the light of the moon. You can summon this thing and put it near them, and it moves 12, so it's pretty, it can follow you around. Still, it'd be a shame to give up on the much better spell lores because you're chained to your stupid moon. And then the Arachna Cauldron. +1 power level wizard next to it, nice. Alright, kind of replaces itself. Yeah, I think playing your own manifestation lore is, that's an option. Like, this thing is not great, but it does something. This thing is not great, but it does something. This thing is good for Trogs, and then this thing makes your wizard a double wizard. So after you summon it, you get your power level back, essentially. Kind of neat. And then it can move around a little bit. Alright. Are you still taking the Morbid one? Probably, but which prime? It's a neat option. Holy Proxy, thanks for the big prime for 11 months. Appreciate it. TY. Then we get to Kragnos, which I, in the past, have never talked about in any of the indexes. Because if you have to use Kragnos, it means your book is bad. And you don't want to use Kragnos because he's not in your army, and he's not like a Git, and he's not like an ogre, and it feels bad to do it. Unless you really want to. Yeah, the bases are huge for blocking. That's the default role of any endless spell. The bare min, right? Big bases for blocking. That's what they all do. I will say this army has a little bit of a problem with damage, I think. Unless you're full Trogs. I think Kragnos is actually a really good choice. In Gitz. To have something, anything that can just go somewhere and fucking kill someone. However sad that is to admit, I apologize, but yeah, Kragnos is still kinda on the table for Gitz. To my chagrin. Next we got Scragorot, the Loon Kang. 5 moves, 6/6. We saw this guy in the faction focus, I recall. Once per battle, you can choose whether the Bad Moon moves or stays. Which I hate. Because not only does your battle trait suck, but now you have to take some 200-point asshole to make it not even always work, but one time work. This shit sucks. And the fact that you almost maybe have to take him sometimes. No, I think you just ignore it. Even as Drogs, you probably ignore it. Yeah, he's a wizard too. Babbling Wand is good. How much do you cost again? I don't like him. 220. Redeploy reactions are always really strong. They make it a sure bet. That's really good. He's so slow, though, that it's hard to get him anywhere to be able to use this on some unit in a neat way. He's a double wizard. That's really strong. He has a 4-up ward. That's really strong. He makes the moon work. I don't like him, but I could see maybe playing him if you're in Trogs. If you're not in Trogs, I don't think you would touch him. Because in Trogs, you care the most about always having the moon. And so you got to figure out some way of always having the moon. Anyway, double casters are strong. Loon Boz. He pulls somebody in to fight right after him, but he doesn't give them a bonus. But what do? I'm the boss. Pick a visible friendly Moon Clan Stabas unit, only within 12. On a 2-up, pick the following. Okay, so free, and then it usually works. If the target is not in combat, you can return D6 slain models to it. Okay, add 1 to wound rolls, target's next attacks. Okay. But our Moon Clan Stabas good, though? If Moon Clan Stabas are good, then he's good. Because you can make him a wizard. If Stabas are not good, and no amount of buffs can save them, then he sucks. We'll return back to him. Gabapalooza. Now, all of the flavor and fun and interesting things have been sucked out of this, and it's like generic gray goo, and I'm very sad about how flavorless a lot of these War Scrolls in the Index have become, but Gabapalooza is really good. I think it's still really good. I think it's an auto-include. Wizard 1, it's got a funny ward that starts out a 4-up, and they live longer than you think they should. And the know-its are strong. It's unfortunate that they work on a 3-up, but all of these things are good. +1 to run and charge, +1 to Ren, that's the one you want. And you can sometimes mesmerize to turn off all-out defense or something like that. They're great. And they're a wizard. Gabapalooza, auto-include. I'm sorry you got your individual named guys all taken away, and you're just generic stuff now, but it's still good, and I think you still take it. They're awesome. Big plus. Also, this +1 rend, Gloomspite Gitz. No keyword bingo. Lands on anything. You'll love to see it. And then the Rabble Rouser. Removal Battle Shock was a big buff to Stabas, yeah, but the Netters are worse. Okay. Secret Tunnels, emerge from the depths. Monster or beast for the rest of your movement phase. They're going to use charge even if it... Oh, this thing, yeah, okay. I know these guys, yeah. Please note that you have to place them kind of beforehand. You gotta put these guys out beforehand. To do the funny allied Mega Gargant, like that kind of thing. Fungoid Cave Shaman. Don't you mean Snazgar Stink Mullet? The Prophecy Speaker. Once per battle your hero phase, you can double Wizzy him. I think there's a better wizard. I would hope there's a better wizard than just that. But maybe there's not. Squiggo Boss with Gnashing Squig. This dude. He looks cool. I like him. Your friendly squig unit within this unit's combat range. Roll a die on a 2-up, pick one of the following effects. Add 3 to the move, and then, or the mouth attacks have crit mortal. Which sucks because probably the mouth attacks don't have a lot of attacks, which means crit mortal won't be proccing a lot. Keep the squig boss in mind if any squigs are good, maybe. This works on a 2-up, the other thing works on a 2-up, the other thing works on a 3-up. Loon boss. On Mangler squigs. Super fragile. Do you fly? Okay, flies, but random movement is annoying. Random movement would fly. Super fragile dies to everything. Shit attacks. Can't fight. What are you for? What is your purpose? Once per battle, any combat phase. Pick this unit and all friendly squigs holier than 12. Add 1 to wound rolls for their shits. Okay. If this is destroyed on a 4-up, you know, if this is destroyed, nothing happens. And then once per turn army, any charge phase. A lot of once per battles. Oh, this is once per turn, I guess. Rampage. Roll dice for each model in the target unit to a max of 10. Why? For each 4-up, inflict a mortal. Okay, so it's a big horde breaker, but it caps at 10. This guy is terrible. Why did they waste their time with this? This is very sad because he's like one of the coolest sculpts in the entire game. And they just won't do anything with it, rules-wise. What a waste of time. I don't even need to look at the points because he doesn't do anything. But I will, I guess. Yeah, 260. 260 is pretty low for a monster hero. But sad. And then just Mangler squigs if you wanted none of the synergy, but also, yeah, what a waste of time. And this guy's rampage is, he can jump over, but it doesn't do any damage. And no impact hits. Okay. $220, okay. It's trash. Damn, that's disappointing. Sneaky Snufflers. These were the handing out a cool buff guys. And so they probably still have a cool buff. Once per turn army or hero phase. So you can't spam these guys. Once per turn army means their rule's probably good, right? Ooh, 5-up ward, nice. We love to see it. If this unit is not in combat, don't worry. If it's in combat, it already has been removed from the table. You're fine. Pick a visible friendly Moon Clan specifically. Okay, Moon Clan only. Holy 12. There's a lot of Holy 12 in this army. Annoying. For the size of the squads that you're probably going to be running. Add 1 to the roll if it's under the light. Annoying. On a 3, ward 5. Oh. On a 6, also add 1 to the tax characteristic. Oh. Hey, we found our second auto-include. As long as you're running even 1 other Moon Clan unit. Which maybe you will, maybe you won't. Ahem. Yeah. It's annoying that it's so random. But a 5-up ward is a 5-up ward. And then once in a blue moon you get bonus attacks. Which never ever count on. Awesome. Yep. Alright, so what do we have for auto-include so far? Gobblepalooza, Sneaky Snufflers. Maybe Scragrod if you're playing a bunch of trolls, but I don't want to have to. Snarley Fang Riders. Oh, these are the Warhammer Fantasy Middle-earth battles guys that somehow found their way into Age of Sigmar to my deep chagrin. Sir, we have mounts in this army. They're called squigs. Get this wolf shit out of here. It looks good. It's just in the wrong game. I hope it's a Warcry band that they were just trying a new aesthetic. Put them in Old World. Just joined Howard Gitz. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. There's some good stuff here. And then some really, really bad stuff. Sneaky Snuffler is awesome. Gobapalooza, awesome. Loon Boss, potentially really good. Make him a wizard. Scragrot, kind of annoying, but you might have to take him anyway. All the squigs don't look good. They don't look good. These guys have move 12 and like a great bow, and like they just seem... Once per turn army enemy movement phase, they can move a d6. Yeah, that's great for battle tactics. Hopefully they're pretty cheap. Snarly Fang. Yeah, 130 for 5, I'd pay that. Yeah. Unfortunately, these guys that aesthetically don't belong in this game are seemingly very playable. And you could do these for BTs for sure. And the sculpts do look nice. I just, you know. Randomized move hits hard. That sucks, but that's not the reason that squigs are bad. It's just yet another thing. They have a lot of problems, which is unfortunate. Loon Smasher Fanatics. 1 health, 6 up save. Spinny Boys. Hidden Loons. Pick this unit if it has not been deployed. Set it up in reserve, hidden among the mobs. And then any movement phase you can release them. But they have to be released more than 9 from enemies, which defeats the whole purpose of them. The whole point is that they appear like in combat or like right after a charge, and that was the fun of them. No, I think they failed to capture what it's supposed to do with the rules they wrote. And D6 attack characteristic kind of ruins it for me. Yeah, they have strike first. But 140 for 5, 280 for 10. I'm not trying to roll D6 attacks on something like this. And the fact that they don't set up, there's no trick. Yeah. Total failure to capture what they are via the rules. They come out in the move phase, so they can probably make the distance. So they do come out in any move phase, right? But then they're 9 away from enemies. They're supposed to be the surprise. I don't know. To me, they're the... You have a normal unit of dudes, and then surprise, it's these guys. Like, right after your opponent charges, you put them in front of your opponent or something, you know. It's supposed to be a surprising thing. Maybe that I'm just stuck in how they used to work in the past, and I shouldn't be. It is any movement phase, though. That is something. If your opponent even has lead belchers, they can probably kill them. Like, even the worst shooting units can certainly kill these guys, but... Yeah. They don't spark joy. They should spark joy, and they don't. Spore Splatter Fanatics. These were the ones that created, like, walls of invisible... Like, you couldn't see through them, and then maybe had a buff, I think. In the deployment phase, you can move them right away. Yeah, more random. Every characteristic that shouldn't be random is. Add 1 tax characteristic of other Moon Clan units while they're wholly within. Subtract 1 from tax characteristic weapons used by enemies. Oh, they're good. Okay. These are like Wrathmonglers. You put a line of these guys in the very back of some other squad, and you can juice them up. Okay. $120. Man, they're so easy to kill because they're not a hero. But I would still probably play some. +1 attacks on a absolute blob of stabbers if those guys are good. You could do something with that. Alright. Spore Splatta. Potentially you're in. Moonclan Shoot'ems. The funny little shoot'ems, yeah. You get 20. Pick an enemy infantry unit in combat with this unit to be the target. On a 3-up, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks. Yeah, but you can't shoot in combat, so... You do potentially get 80 shots. So there's that. Do I have to scroll up and see... melee weapons... melee weapons. Oh, units weapons, okay. Actual just weapons detected. For the Palooza. Add 1 to wound rolls. No, but it's stabbers only. Okay, so it would have, but no. How come this is Moonclan stabbers? You could have just said Moonclan and make the third one melee attacks only. You know? Well, alright, fine. So it looks like the shooters dodge every possible buff except 1. But the 1 is a rend one. 80 shots at 18. 4s and 5s, 1-1. Is that worth it? Is that something? Once you tag this unit in combat, it's useless forever. Because no shoot in combat. I don't know. I'd have to see this on the table, but 80 shots. Alright, let's pretend you're doing all-out attack, right? So you hit with 50 of them. And then you wound on 5s. Which means you hit with 15 of them, right? Or no, it's 20% of 5. And then there are rend 1. Yeah, I don't know. Moonclan shooters, I'm going to put a question mark, but probably not. You're going to roll a whole bunch of dice that ultimately do very little, and then someone's going to tag them in combat, and they'll never work again. Good thing we stopped all the shoot in combat. I'm sad. Moonclan stabbers, what about you? Little funny men, little funny guys. You get 20 of them. 1-5. Well, okay, they have a 5. A Staba. 2 attacks, good start. 4s and 5s, 0-1. Netters. On a 3-up, subtract 1 from hit rolls. Now this does matter for these guys. Because you can fight in combat. And all of the buffs work on these guys. And so, we got +1 attacks from Gaba, or +1 rend from Gaba Palooza. +1 to wound rolls from the Loon Boss. +1 attacks from Sneaky Snufflers. Technically, you could get another +1 to attack if you roll a 6, but we don't even factor that in. It's too rare. So, +1 attack, +1 to wound, +1 rend. Am I missing anything? And the number of multi-layered Death Star buffs we're putting on the Moonclan Stabbers unit of 40 or whatever. Oh, the Spore Splatta, +2, yeah. And the Snufflers give a ward as well, which is the main thing we want that for. I forgot about the Spore Splattas. So they could be at 4 attacks. Once in a million years, 5, it'll never happen. Like 4, 3s and 4s, 1-1. And then you have like 40 guys with a 5-up, 5-up. Right? Even if you just run 20, which makes it easier to get within your buff ranges and stuff. In like a full Moon Clan army, I could see something like that being decent. Isn't the Snuffler's 5-up Under the Moon for attacks? Let's check. Roll a die. On a 3-up, you get a 5-up ward. And then on a 6, you get 1 attacks. If you're Under the Moon, it's a 2-up for the ward and a 5-up for the attacks, which is still never something I would even plan on getting, right? A 1 in 3 chance of success is enough of a long shot to just kind of ignore. That ward is a big deal, though. That's huge. I think you could give them the... You can put -2 to hit on them pretty good, which makes all-out attack irrelevant, right? What we're really trying to do is get rid of all-out attack. So you put your opponent at net -1 to hit, no matter what. On a maybe 4-up save 5-up ward guy. With 1 million creatures that you keep regenerating over and over. I think that might have some legs. That might be good. You really do have to get that 5-up ward, but I think that's good. And then Squighoid. These guys are trash. These were like completely overpowered when the book first came out last edition, and then received like 6 nerfs, and then they were okay, and now, yeah, I think they're dead. I don't see what they do. They almost can't even move at all. Their movement's so terrible. Beast is horrendous. They don't do enough damage to really matter. They don't do enough mortals to matter. They're just bad. They're not worth taking at all, I don't think. They finally made every single part of them so bad that you've succeeded. Congratulations. Hey, good work. Yeah, and their wounds are so tiny. Centurion thinks it's a big prime for 1 month. Appreciate it. I'm sorry, for 8 months. Loon Baus on Giant Cave Squig. This dude, okay, what do you do? D6 +6, 6/5. Charge 1 damage. And the Gob. The Gob attack, huh? Purple Speedwagon. Thanks for the big prime. For 12 months. Holy 12-inch months. Nice. A reaction, you declare a fight. Ooh, +1 to hit rolls. Non-hero Squig Cavalry that is not used to fight. Okay. So this guy can, like, follow around Boingy Boys or something. Whatever. That's maybe okay. You could make him a wizard if you wanted to. I'm gonna put him in the maybe pile. Normally I don't rate things like this at all, but he gives you a free all-out attack, which I like. Squig Hopplers. Oh wait, what's the point cost on the boss? Oh, 130. Alright. Okay. The +1 doesn't affect Squig Bites. Oh, because they're companion. I keep forgetting about the no fun allowed companion shit. Oh, maybe not. In that case, maybe not, actually. Let me check the war scroll here. Oh yeah, the guys on the back don't do anything. Yeah, never mind, he's bad. Maybe it's just these guys are bad, though. D6 +8, 2/6. I only got 2 wounds. Pick an enemy unit that this unit passed across. And 4-up mortal. You gotta roll pretty high to get any sort of decency there. And it's each model in this unit that passed across it. I don't like those. Just as a thing that can fly and go places and... I don't know. What do you cost? What are you called? Squig hopplers. Uh, 10 for 170. Oh, I didn't think you'd get 10 of them. Okay. Well, how many buffs can we give squigs now? This is Moon Clan only. This is Moon Clan only. This is once per battle plus 1 to wound on the jaws. No. Not taking a guy for once per game when the rest of the guy sucks. That's Frostlord on Stonehorn's problem. Alright, now this guy is the squig guy. Roll die on a 2-up. Add 3 to the move, good. And then crit mortal. Oh, okay, crit mortal, yeah, maybe. Maybe that's the... So it's like this guy becomes a wizard if you're in a squig army, perhaps. How many... Because they have like a decent amount of attacks, actually, right? Yeah, 3 per model. And when it comes to crit mortals, you're looking for volume so that they actually happen. 30 fang-filled gobs. 31. Or actually, no, not 31. Because companion stops the champion bonus. The fucking thing. Aren't Squigs Moon Clan? Now that I look, they are. I didn't think they were. I thought we still had, in my head, I'm traumatized from the extreme bingo that there was in 2nd edition. Okay, we're actually safe. Never mind, we're safe. We're safe from the worst bingos. 30 gobs with crit mortal. I kind of like it. Alright. Not so much this guy. But... yeah, alright. Moon Clan doesn't matter when all the buffs only hit the guys on top. Well, I'm thinking about the 5-up ward. I know you're going to put it on something else, probably, but it's nice to see what you could put it on, right? So, like, these guys, for instance, give a 5-up ward. Which ain't bad. You are boing-pilled. How's the Gitz looking so far? Imagine a squig boinging up and down, right? Like a sine wave. Everything is either good or terrible. At complete random. I do have a lot of question marks, though. It seems like the type of armor you'd have to play once or twice to figure out. All right, now we got the boingy boys, the Lancer guys, the ones that I want to be good. They are slower than squig hoppers by 2 inches. That is pain, Dio. Teberakuda, thanks for the tier 1 that landed on Crow Ruist. Ahem. They got the Porkin Lance. 3 attacks, force and force, 1/1 charge, 1 damage. Okay. Alright. They're pretty bad with them. But you can give them a free all-out attack with the special guy on the mount. If you want. You can make the gobs crit mortal. If this unit charged, pick an enemy, roll a d3, it's a shit... Alright, yeah, it's the shit one. They do a shit d3 mortal impact. Which is like, whatever. 2 health, 5. Five for 120, so 2 for 2, or so 10 for 240. I think I actually always want squig hoppers instead. You get 10 for 170 over here. You can only take 10 of these. I don't know. They're slower. Yeah, they have more attacks that you can add stuff to, but I think they're, to me, they seem on paper to be just worse than Squig Hoppers for the points that you would pay for the amount that you get. Is the shit D3 nomenclature because of a Poor Hammer podcast? Somebody from Poor Hammer came into my show last week, and people were like, you should go on Poor Hammer, and I'm like, okay. And so I watched one of them, and they were calling the 2-up D3 thing, they were calling it a shit D3, or a shit roll. And I've also heard other people do that. Maybe did they start it? Did Poor Hammer start the concept of calling it a shit roll, or a shit D3? Because whoever started it, it has kind of entered the zeitgeist of AOS. Because it's a sad type of roll that you always hate. So if they invented it, I'll give them credit. Whoever did. Do they say shite? Is this a hero thing? Do they say shite roll? They called it a shite roll. Yeah, that's what it is. It doesn't feel good to fail a third of the time on stuff that should just work. I agree. Anyway, due to how the points end up and the amount of support you'd have to give them, and the fact that they're slower, I actually like Squig Hoppers more than Boingies. I would play with them over them, I think. Because it's the Smite spell from 40k 9th edition, but shittier. Okay. And then we got the Tug Man. The Tugboat. 16 health, 4-up. A small amount of unlikely to land attacks that do big damn. And so he's going to be really swingy and end up not doing a lot. Mostly. He's not reliable, that's what I'm saying. Very slow. 16 4-up, no ward, but he could get a ward some other way. Okay. His Laystone thing gets worse after he's taken 10 damage, but he is healing all the time. Once per turn army, pick an enemy unit within 1, roll a die if the roll equals or exceeds its health characteristic, gets slain. That's alright. It's super good against like 3-wound cavalry and stuff. You love to see it. Heal D6 start of every turn. Good work. Malfunctioning Laystone. Roll 3 dice. You must pick 1 and apply the effects that correspond to the table. Effects 2 through 6 persist until the start of your next turn. Alright. On a 1, he damages himself. Add 1 task characteristic of melee weapons used by Trogs within 12. Great buff. Add 1 to Rend. Great buff. This unit can unbind as if it were a wizard. Pretty good, sometimes. -1 from hit rolls for shooting attacks at target friendly Trog units, whatever. And 5 up ward. Awesome. But it's only for him. No. I guess your guys already have wards, right? Because they're Rotgut, so... I guess your guys already have wards. And you get to roll 3 dice fishing for the one you want. Cool. I kind of like him. The Tugboat. I think this should have been down here, and then just have it be something else. But I guess beggars can't be choosers. How much do you cost? Please not 400. 360, okay. Okay. I'd play him. I'd still play him. He probably unlocks Trogs to be able to be taken as well. Oh, he gets a free Dank Hold Troggy if he wants it. And then just any Gloomspite gets. Nice. Because he's a War Master, probably. Alright, I like him. Kid, you're in. And then the Dank Hold Trogo boss. He's a big, impossibly slow monster. No ward. 5 attacks where your opponent will end up getting hit by maybe one of them by the end of it, and then you're still rolling d6 damage. Trash. Once per turn, Shepherd. Shepherd of Destruction. If this unit is in combat, roll a die on a 3-up. Add 1 tax characteristic of melee weapons used by all trogs while they're within this unit's combat range. So you have to be like right next to the combat range of this guy, and he's very slow, but so are they. Three up. Only if he's in combat. At least he didn't have to charge, like all the BCR stuff. He has the big regen. If this unit was picked to be the target of a spell, don't worry, he wasn't. But you can sometimes ignore it. What would I pay for him? I don't know, I don't like him. He does this buff, but it sounds too annoying to get to work. 180? 220. Too high. Maybe you end up having to play him for this buff. I hope not. He costs too much. Dankhold Trigoth. Alright, again, huge damage for the 1 attack that will make it through. 10-4-6. Funny guy. Heal D3. This unit is picked 4 up. Oh, that's their... Oh, that's too bad. It's too bad this is the Trogs thing. Wade and Smash. Any combat phase. If it's in combat, it can move 6, but must end it in combat. Who cares? Then roll a d3 for each enemy unit within 1. 2 up. Alright. Nope. Nope. There just isn't a point cost that would make this guy do anything. $180? Yeah, no. No. Playing with 0. Fellwater Trogoths. 5-5-6. They have Noxious Vomit within an unbelievably short range, but shoot in combat. Very aging sculpt from Forge World, I think. If any damage points are allocated to an enemy unit by attacks made with the Noxious Vomit, it is drenched in vomit. While unit is drenched in vomit, nice keyword. -1 from save rolls. Oh, that's good. Ignore positive modifiers to save rolls. That's even better. Alright, so they have a 6-inch range. Randomly like the best debuff in the game. Okay, interesting. Interesting. You prefer D3 plus 3 over the D6 damage? Yes, of course. Yeah, D3 plus 3 is way better than D6. I just don't think either of their damage is worth writing home about in any case. Super random, super swingy, whatever. This guy has a buff, maybe. And this guy has no buff, so... I have a guy who I kinda don't want to play, but maybe I will. And a guy that has nothing going for him. This is how I'm looking at it as an outsider, anyway. How are Spiderfang looking? Dead. Yeah. Probably, like, buyer beware, don't buy into them. That's been the case for a while. I don't know if I would ever have suggested to buy into Spiderfang, but even more so, obviously, don't. Now. Anyway, Felrotted Trogs. What do they cost? 3 for 180, huh? Okay. Alright, I'm gonna give you a... What's the word? I'm gonna give you a disclaimer. I am being mentally manipulated by this stupid short-range vomit that will always be out of range and never work because the effect is so good. And so I'm drawn to this strong effect, like a siren song. But it's on a unit that you probably shouldn't play with. Raka Tragus. Anyway, I would try to play them and set up and line it up and everything, but I don't know, probably not. The guys that are good. Five up ward. You'll love to see it. 4 up save naturally, 3 underneath the bad moon. So 4 up, 5 up, maybe 3 up, 5 up. And sometimes even 3 up, 5 up against Ren 2. Depending. 6-inch move, 5 health. Throw in the boldas. They will always miss. If they hit, consider it a birthday present or something. And only 2 attacks with 3 guys is a very, very, very tiny amount of attacks from a unit that hit on 4s. These guys are going to be swingy as hell. But 2 rend, 2 wound, and 3 damage is big. So you will have combats where you fight as your trogs, and they do actual nothing, and then you'll have fights where they'll be alright. The healing is very nice, starts of every turn. They're just hard to kill, and they have big damage numbers, although it's very swingy. How much do they cost? 170 for 3. Price is kind of right, too. 2 control, nice to see. The only thing is they do have a 4 attacks for 3. I mean, oh, you're thinking of buffs and stuff that can land on them. They have a, yeah, they heal twice per turn in the Throg Battalion. They have a Kryptonite, these guys. And that is, -1 number of attacks. Debuffs. Like, -1 number of attacks and -1 to hit. Make these guys deal 0 damage forever. So they do have a weakness, right? But I like them and treat them well, and they will treat you well. Great work. What I would consider them is, I would consider them anvils that randomly will do damage. That's what their job is. Like, they're an anvil that randomly sometimes does damage. And if you put that in your head, then you'll be a lot happier with them, I think. Spider Riders. They're really bad. $5 for 110. They're really cheap, though. But yeah, I would still just get something out. Even if you want some battle tactic acquiring thing, I still wouldn't play Spider Riders. I would still do something else. Web Spinner Shaman. Just a guy. He's a wizard. Blah. What do you do? Spider God Staff? Pick a friendly Spider Fang unit or terrain feature, 2 up. You can remove this unit and set it up again. Alright. Speed of the spider, pick a spider. And then it can run and shoot and charge, alright. Nah. Ragnarok Spider. Was this thing the one that's kind of... This one might be useful if you already own it. 16, 4 up 10. Got some spider bows. Got some crit mortals on just those. Only 4 though. Eh. In the light of the bad moon, I guess they proc on 5s? No, this isn't the one. It's got the shit roll too. I'm thinking of the one that's a wizard. Where's the one that's the wizard? This one? Web Spinner Shaman on a Ragnarok Spider. 320 for one of them. 16, 4, 10, 5 control. Some attacks. +1 to cast. You are a Spider Fang Wizard. You can fly across terrain, which is nice. Enemy infantry hero has strike last, whatever, I don't know. I kind of like it because it's like spider power armor for a wizard. +1 to cast guy, 16 health, 4 up, 10 move. You can scurry across stuff. There's a bunch of profiles here. I don't know. If you already own one, I would maybe try it out and tell me how it is. If you feel like paying that much for it. If you don't own one, definitely don't buy one. And then all these spiders. Scuttle Tide. Then we get to that. Okay. Alright. So, in total, there's a big expensive spider that's maybe something, but I don't know. Rock Good Trogs are good. Good anvil that randomly does damage. Good healing. These guys have one of the nastiest debuffs I've ever seen in the game, but super short range. Like you're just kind of not hitting something maybe unless it's in combat. Dank Trog, which I don't like. Dank Trog Boss, which I also don't like, but technically has a buff, even though it's annoying to get it to work. It's basically the same thing as the Huskard on Stonehorns, right? And then there's the big Trug, whomst I like. I like this guy. He seems fun. Good buffs and everything. Nice AoEs. Greater regen. He's huge. Boingers, which I don't think the points are quite there for. If this was... Nah, even if it was 4, they would just super die. It doesn't matter. Squig Hoppers, I think, are better. For the amount you get for the points, because they come in 10s. This guy would be okay if Companion wasn't in the game. These things are bad, I think. Stabbas, I think, are good. Moonclan Shootas, if they had shoot in combat, maybe, but they don't, so I don't think so. Fanatics, sure, I love +1 attacks. These guys, they failed the right rules that replicated what they do. These guys are pretty good for BTs, I think. Snufflers, S tier, go in every list. Mangler Squigs, big sad. They will not make the Mangler Squigs good ever. They can't. And there must be a law. This guy's good if you're playing Squigs. I like the Crit Mortal. I don't really like this wizard, but you don't have a lot of wizards to choose from, actually. Rabble Rouser, maybe, if you're trying to be silly. Gobapalooza for sure, S tier auto include. This guy I like.
Good job, King.
I like making this guy a wizard. That sounds good to me. And I kind of hate this guy, but it's only on a principled level. So maybe you play him anyway, I'm not sure, depending on how much you need that moon. And then Kragnos, I actually think fits very well into the army. You have awesome anvils, and then a bunch of weird stuff. You need something that can just fucking kill someone. And so maybe consider Kragnos, even though the inclusion of Kragnos would mean it'd be like a tacit admission that your book is bad. And your spells are hard to cast, but good. It's very weird that enemy units need to be wholly within 12. So you give them the power to shut this off. That's weird. I consider that something that should be fixed in the FAQ, but maybe they intended on that to happen. Okay. Weird. And then Clammy Cowl is the only thing here. The other two suck. And then make someone a wizard for sure. The other ones are like cool and interesting, but they wrote an edition where you can't play without wizards, so this is it. And alright, battle formation's kind of neat, and battle traits the worst, maybe, in the game. That's Gloomspite Gitz. Tension 8105 thinks it's a tier 1 for 38 months. Big. See you at Dragonfall. True, will be there. Mostly playing Commander for sure. And some AOS, you know, walking around. If you're going full troll, are you sticking with regular battle regiment or going Army of Renown? Where can I find the Army of Renown rules? Are they in the index? They have a PDF on GW. Why didn't... Oh, I didn't talk about the Bad Moon Loon Shrine. I almost forgot. It has 14 health and a 4-up save. It's possible to kill it, but I wouldn't freak out. You just have to protect it a little bit. It's really good. Everything's under the everything's under the light around it. That's awesome. You spend a command point to get tons of points back. That's awesome. It's awesome and huge in real life and looks cool. It's great. I don't know why they don't put the Army of Renown. Actually, I don't know why is there an Army of Renown at all? Isn't an Army of Renown basically like a battle formation when you think about it? How come they did that? That's fucked up. That's weird. And then they put it in a different spot. I'm gonna have to go searching for that fucking thing now during a commercial break to try to find it. Well, I'm supposed to grade the indexes, I guess, and the Army of Renown, they're like a whole new army rules. Well, I say, if your indexes rules are so half-assed, how come you're going off and writing all new army rules for the same army? Why don't you just take that energy and make better index rules for them? You know? It's like you own a dog and you're like, oh, I don't want to take my dog for a walk. I'm going to buy a new dog. It's like, and then take that dog for a walk. Take care of what you have first. And it's weird. That's not a good metaphor. Anyway. I don't have a dog, so... I'm tired of this dog. Bring me another. It's new ways to play your models as an option. Put those options in the index. I don't see what... Why not? Why not do that? I don't know. That's the kind of thing that I would be more forgiving of if the index was perfect and everything was great and fun. But it's just not. So, finish your job. I guess they kept them from the Dawnbringer thing, which was a whole nother thing besides, but now we're in 4th edition. Either you had the chance to roll them into the indexes, you probably should have, you know? You missed the Skaven stream? You think we will 100% get new Vandus, and that's Ruination Chamber? Yeah, I think we're getting a new Vandus and like a Lightning Man thing. That would be kind of cool, right? According to the lore and Ionis and the little short story and stuff. Why did you think they were getting rid of Regiments of Renown? Because they usually do when a new edition comes out. It was a temporary thing. Bald Stormcast versus Bald Rats. Whoever wins, hair loses. Anyway, where do we put Gitz? They used to be in no fun allowed tier. From just the faction focus. It looked the worst. Ogres actually did look worse than Gitz originally. But Gitz were the second worst looking faction focus that they showed us. After the index. Well, Rockgut Trogs are good. You got some, maybe a boingy thing. Stabbas look pretty good. But ultimately, you do probably have to play Kragnos, which means the book is bad. And there's a lot in there that seems pretty poor on the face of it. A lot of bingo still. Sub-factions that are all keyword locked up like they said they weren't going to do anymore. The battle trait that everyone hated was not even addressed at all. Low effort. I'm currently deciding between low effort and doesn't exactly spark joy. I bet you could make 3. Could you make 3 okay armies? Or could you just make kind of 1 using a little bit of everything? I feel like I could call a lot of these low effort, which is maybe incorrect that I put that here, right? I'll give them a C. Doesn't exactly spark joy. Although you were so close to low effort flawed. And I might put you back there after I think about it for a second. Bottom of C, maybe top of D+. No, we haven't done Seraphon yet. Not quite yet. Yeah, you can either go all trogs or mainly trogs, probably, is how it worked out. Alright, next up. Sylvaneth or Hoss? Which one? Heat Knights of Slaanesh or Sylvaneth? I'm thinking maybe Sylvaneth. Because we're doing the 3 justice ones that look the worst, you know? I will read the responses after this commercial break. Get up and stretch your legs and stuff. I'm going to have 1 hot chip. So I'll be right back and we'll get into whichever people comment on the most or whatever I feel like.